G'day fellow YouTubers. Not a lot today, just a bit of a ramble. Now I know Wayne Boombox Deluxe, he loves these plugs and sockets, and I got a bit of a treat here for him. Have a look at this old beastie. Old Bakelite Australian socket. Yeah, fair enough, it's got a few cracks in it, but it's not a bad little thing just to have it as a display piece. And it's an old Clipsal one. And then we get to the point, yes, it looks like another socket, doesn't it? But piggyback plug. From about the same era. It's made by a company called Utilux. Don't know whether you've heard of them or not. And then we get to one, it's a little later in the piece when the moulded plastic ones started coming out, but this is actually the hard plastic, made by Ring Grip, which is a Clipsal company. And again, nice old thing, but a little bit of corrosion on the pins. But I've made a few extra acquisitions of late. I've got to make a bit of a rearrangement around here to bring the biggest one in. But it's the welder that I'm actually going to convert to the 33 kV transformer. But I know Anthony, high 1 voltage 1 rules. He loves these things. They need a bit of a clean up. But two identical flybacks from the same TVs. I can't by the size of those. I'd probably say it's a 38 centimetre, give or take. And then to something new. I know it looks like Bodgy Brothers Electrics made this thing. 240 volt plug, an electrolytic capacitor. But what's this we see in between? Little baby bridge rectifier. Yes, I'm going to play with some DC. But this capacitor is going to be joined by all of its mates in here. And this. Yes, I know, it's a light bulb. And I'm not going to arc this one. It's simply going to be a charge control for the capacitors. But again, we'll go back to this little fella. Size of that, 450 volt, 150 microfarad. Now I'll go rummaging around in this little box here. And this one, what I'm looking for in here surprised the hell out of me. And that one isn't it. The little one there, 250 volt. That might be 450 volt, but look at the size comparison between the two of them. But I haven't finished yet. the little 250 volt one, it's 2.2 microfarads. And then we've got this little fella, 400 volt, 10 microfarad. And again, look at the size difference between the two of them. Surprised the living hell out of me to see capacitors rated that high, that small. And just to prove that this light bulb does work, there it goes. That's my LED bulb. You'll know what to do with that. Well, it did work. Bloody thing's got a fuse in it. Oh well. It worked yesterday. It doesn't work now. Well, maybe I will arc that one. Now I've got to go and find another one. But here's what to do if your keyboard shits itself. I don't know if you can see that, but that's actually the inner film of the keyboard. And that's the other side of it. Everybody knows what this thing is. Now comes time for 2000 volts. We've got a little bit of corona happening on the plastic here. I don't know if you can see that underneath the chicken stick. Just corona between the traces. Well, unplug, safety first. I'll get some other traces on here. Not those two. Plug in, power on. Nice. Oh, I have got the Australian stick patented extraction system in today. A fan sitting on top of an air conditioner and a window. Can't you just tell I love destroying things? Well, that'll be the end of that one. And again, unplug, safety first. And I'm going to hook that one to there. Okay, plug in, power on. Unplug, safety first. And reconnect my earth wire, which came off for some unknown reason. Plug in, power on. Ah, that's better. Quite a nice little effect coming out of that. One thing with dealing with high voltage is a lot of you'll know, some may come along and don't know, it's always a good idea to keep one hand well clear. In fact, it's often a good idea, the old hand in the pocket idea. Well, I think that makes a good bit of mincemeat out of that. Yeah, unplug, safety first. Now, I had one of those around here somewhere. This place really needs a good tidy up. That way I might be able to find what I'm looking for. Well, I'll just pause here and I'll be back in a minute, folks. Back again, folks. And as you might see, sitting down here, this little fellow again. Let's see if it'll finally pop. Plug in, power on. But what I intend to do with the capacitors as well is in this tray here, make up 2 layers. I'll put all my ones rated 250 volt above on one layer, and all the other ones that I'm going to put in series, like 160s, 200 volts and the likes. I've got a sheet of plastic here. Doesn't look the best, a bit dirty. But that doesn't matter, it's just a simple dielectric layer. It'll sit between the capacitors, stop the ones on the bottom shorting out to the ones on the top that have the just the metal cap without any insulation. I know with this bloody CFL, the Mott has to win. It doesn't get hot, not at 1200 watts. But this CFL has to fucking die. But the welder transformer, for the whole welder itself, I'm going to use every single part of that. The transformer itself I'm going to take out and rewind the secondary for the 33 kV, and then I'll have to make another box for it because that's going to be oil immersed. So I've got to get winding wire, paper insulation, bushings and a few other bits and pieces, and then the welder case itself, that'll come off. Come apart as much as it can, and all the ballasts will be going in it. There'll be 10 ballasts all up, taking it to 400 watt steps up to 4 kilowatts. And another switch for unballasted. And I like to get one of those foot pedals, but I'm having a bit of a hard time finding it so that I can operate the bloody washing machine pressure switch. So I can operate the two back contactors in the ballast unit. Because I'm going to end up with 3 contactors all up. One will be main power in, another one will be ballasted power out, and the third one will be the straight unballasted out. The second 2 will be controlled by the foot pedal. Well, it's a rather handy little collection of capacitors, and even though this thing here, it looks as rusty as all hell, and it is as rusty as all hell. So are the other 6 that I've got sitting outside waiting to be pulled to pieces. But that's the sort of thing I'm salvaging the capacitors out of. And I don't know what it is with this CFL, but Jesus, a tough little bastard. And it's only a cheap one, something like $3 each or something. Now, the bloody thing's taking an absolute pounding. The circuit board didn't. You probably remember that from one of my previous videos, the extremely smoky capacitor. Oh, a little bit of heat in those filaments. Looks like I might be needing to put another ballast in, give it 1600 watts. But I'll have to wait until I get another ballast. Anyhow folks, that will be all for now. In fact, one of these days I might hook up a resonance circuit on the mott and give that a nice little shot. I've got enough bloody microwave capacitors. That'll keep me going for a bit. Well, that'll be all folks. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.